Hey, howdy. So, I'm gonna be honest, I needed a bit of a break day again. I know that's been half of these episodes, but I don't know, these last few weeks have been busy as heck. So, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the daily to Cosmic Cube World, and then I'm kinda just gonna see where the free expeditions take me. Oh, right, this place is super cool. Ah, crap, right. I don't remember where this is. Modern keyboard, and then the void. Oh, right. I forgot about the void. So I just go straight this way, because I've already unlocked it. So, I was thinking about something very weird and interesting. Because I saw a YouTube video, or I saw the thumbnail for a YouTube video, I'll be honest, talking about the ethics of necromancy, and it caught my eye, and I was just thinking to myself about it. God, this place is so cool. Hang on, who made this area? Noir, okay. This place is really, really cool. But, the whole, like, question of the video was necromancy. Supposing that it were possible, I mean, that kind of makes sense. Supposing that it were possible, would it be ethical? Because it all depends on the specifics of what necromancy actually is. There we are. Wow, this area is pretty. Where to next? Ooh, Cosmic World. Oh dear, Cosmic World means the depths, I guess. Let's go there. Oh boy. This is gonna be rough. Let me just, like, click through a little bit more and get to depths. There you are. Let's go through Forest Pier and, I guess, see where it takes us. So, the first outcome, and probably the most ethical outcome of it all, is suppose that there is no concept of a soul, there's nothing like that. When someone dies, because of brain death, they lose all of their memories, and because their body is now withering away, well, any tactile information that they used to have is gone as well. So in essence, they're no longer the same person that they once were. If there's no concept of a soul, no, like, binding contract, anything like that, then I think that necromancy might be more ethical than some of the other situations. Still not very ethical at all. Because you are still disrespecting the dead in a major way. But at least you're not causing suffering. But the more layers you add to this, the more muddy the waters get. Now, for instance, suppose necromancy is itself a magical thing, so let's add in some magical element, the soul. Now, the soul is always weird to talk about because every major religion and every major fantasy world has different ways to interpret what the soul is and how the soul operates, but generally speaking, excuse me for a second. Generally speaking, the soul and how it interacts with necromancy is usually pretty similar. That when someone is raised from the dead, their soul is bound to that body. So they were previously dead and in whatever whatever hell, heaven, or afterlife that culture believes in. But when they're raised from the dead, their soul returns to their body and is stuck there in slavery, essentially, until the body is destroyed again. Until the power of that warlock is relinquished, or until the body is destroyed to the point that it can no longer be inhabited. The soul is basically just stuck there and forced to do whatever the warlock or necromancer wants them to do, which is highly unethical. But then let's add in another layer to this and see how it develops. What if it's not presented as slavery, but rather as another chance at life? Because although the necromancer, presumably when they reanimate the body, gain full control of them, let's suppose for a moment that they don't gain full control of the body. And oops, wait, I need to look here. Arctopillar world, okay. Just wanted to make sure. And I think Arctopillar world is right here, right? Yeah. Supposing for a moment that the soul is returned to the body, but also the corpse is not required to do what the necromancer wants it to do, well, then you end up in a very odd situation. And you end up with a lot of weird moral questions, like what is thinking, what is feeling, and would the corpse feel pain? Would the corpse be able to, like, gain new experiences? And it all kind of boils down to this concept that the soul and the mind are inexorably linked. That when the soul re-enters someone's body, they magically regain all of their memories, all of their personality. It's just, their soul is their mind. There is no disconnect between the two. So in reality, what a lot of these questions boil down to is, if the soul is returned to the body, that's the same as saying that the necromancer is taking control of the corpse's mind, which is also highly unethical, rather. I don't know, it's just fun, like, pointless things to consider. Oh god, don't tell me it's this way. It's not good. Not a fan of that place. There is also another element that came to mind while I was constructing the other argument. That when you're talking about the soul and, like, domination over a person's soul, there's also that implication, like I said, that by them being there, they're not in heaven or hell or purgatory or whatever afterlife. Which causes some very weird questions to emerge. And you would think that it would be universally bad, because of course, that person deserved endless joy in the good afterlife, or endless suffering in the bad afterlife, or whatever the heck happens to them in purgatory. But they didn't get it, because now they're being used as a magical errand boy by whatever warlock decided to summon them. But let's suppose for a moment that it was premeditated. And the example that comes to mind might not be the example that you're expecting. I'm thinking of Ace Attorney, actually. Because this is kind of similar ethical questions come up Because for those unfamiliar, I'm about to drop some big spoilers on about the third Ace Attorney game, so if you care at all about that, I'm sorry. So in the third Ace Attorney game, the final case, or I suppose the final plot, revolves around the Faye family. Now, the Faye family's main claim to fame is their ability to channel the spirits of the dead. And usually this is used by Maya. This is used by Maya and Mia and Pearl, basically just to talk to the dead and no other reason. They have questions for the dead. The spirit channeler channels the spirit of that dead person, and then they ask them some questions, and then the person returns to wherever the heck they went. I don't know anything about like Japanese spirituality and where souls are believed to go after death. In like traditional beliefs. I got nothing for that. But regardless, there's a sort of Hamlet-esque plot between two factions of the Faye family. And in order to accuse Maya of murder, they use a character by the name of Dahlia Hawthorne, who was taken into the family and learned the ways of spirit channeling herself. And their plot was to use, or Dahlia's plot to get revenge on the Faye family was to, basically to kill herself. Chaotic. Oh god, wait, do I want to go to Planetarium? I think while I'm here, we're only 12 minutes in. Yeah, let's go to Planetarium. I haven't been there in so long. That's where you come out, and I think it's over here, right? But the plan with Dahlia was to have her... as she was being on death row. Long story short, the reason why she has a vendetta against the Faye family is that Mia Faye was the defense attorney. Mia Faye was the defense attorney for, I forget the dude's name. No, it literally was Phoenix Wright. I forgot that because that's how the game starts. She was the defense attorney for Phoenix Wright and was responsible for stopping Dahlia's master plan initially from going through. So she was put on death row, and that other faction of the Faye family that I mentioned is Morgan Faye, who, fun fact, is actually named after the main sorceress of King Arthur's court, Morgan Le Fay. Oh no, the creature isn't here. Sometimes there's a creature in the well. But as she was on death row, Dahlia was approached by Morgan Faye, and the two of them conspired to bring down the Faye family. Morgan left, Dahlia was put on death row, given the chair, and was killed. And then they constructed a plot to bring her spirit back. And, well, basically, to have either Pearl Faye or someone else bring her spirit back from the grave so that she could kill Maya. Or that she could kill, what's it? So that she could kill Misty Faye, rather. I'm misremembering. It's been a while since I've actually played the game. The plan was, in traditional Ace Attorney fashion, to kill two birds with one stone, and to kill basically the matriarch of the Faye family, Misty Faye, and to have Maya get the blame for her death. But before any of that could happen, Misty Faye realized what was happening and conspired with other people to have Pearl, of all people, intervene. Because, since the spirit would be passing into the body of Pearl instead of anyone else, no one else would be able to channel Dahlia Hawthorne that day. So, all of this is to say, I was talking about necromancy earlier. Well, Dahlia was not exactly a good person. This much is clear. So the question is now, what happens to her in the afterlife? I imagine very, very bad things. Whatever the... If there is the existence of the soul, and the afterlife, and presumably heaven or hell if we're talking like souls and judgment and that kind of stuff. I get the feeling Dahlia was not sent to the good place, as it were. So in that situation, the act of necromancy itself would be deemed as a good thing to the person who was being brought back. But by the same token, in that case, there's also the issue that the act itself is seen as good in the eyes of the person who's possessing. They're being used as a tool for a greater evil, which makes the action overall very unethical. Ethics are weird. Ethics are really weird. Like, the trolley problem also comes to mind as a classic bit of, ethical shenaniganry. It's the quintessential bit of ethical chicanery. Whenever people bring up ethical dilemmas, they're going to bring up the trolley problem, and you are going to be sick of hearing about it. Also, planetarium. But the trolley problem is, it's interesting, for sure. For those who somehow haven't heard it, let me give a rundown. Also, I love this event. This event is awesome. So the trolley problem is, it goes something like this. You have two trolleys. You have a trolley barreling down a road, and its brakes are broken. On one end of the track, there is one person tied to the tracks. Now, you, as the operator for the trolley, had the option to pull the switch and change it onto a different track. But in doing so, you were more than likely to cause the track to derail and could potentially kill many people in the process. What do you do? And then from there, the question kind of balloons out based on the circumstances, in kind of a similar way. Oh, I am so happy that this is actually marked now. This place is a pain. Like, for example, personal attachment is almost always the thing that comes up in these circumstances. That suppose that you have basically the same situation. Suppose that you have basically the same situation, but that person that's tied to the first track is someone that you deeply care about. And then you're presented with the same issue. What do you do? Well, the issue lies with logicality, frankly. That logically, you would not divert the track and you would let it kill your friend. Because the potential loss of all of those lives is not worth it. Now, realistically, what actually happens? Well, another thing that comes to mind is let's make the question a little different. And suppose that you have a car on a road, and its brakes don't work. And you have the two options again. You can either keep going straight, which will cause you to hit a person and likely kill them, or do you swerve off to the side, which will also cause you to hit someone who will likely die from their injuries. Now, the question is down to a 1-to-1. No matter what you do, the outcome will essentially be the same with regards to the ethics and the loss of life. And from there, it's basically up to the circumstance for what you choose to do. Like, for example, suppose that it was two people of different status. Like, suppose that the person that you are in danger of running into was some regular Joe, and the person that you could swerve into by accident is the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. I don't know why the United Kingdom came to mind, but I was saying trolleys earlier, I guess. Man, this dude is too high for this. Now we get to the part that is going to be a kind of a pain. Old train station. I think I got it. They're scarecrows. Do you want them to be in an office? But, the other thing that might change your answer, and I mean, weirdly enough, it kind of leads into this random-ass conversation that's been happening in the chat, is the issue of things like inherent prejudice. And I'm not just talking racism, just like in general. A person you like versus a person you don't like, or a person, two people of different skin colors, or different religions, or different... basically anything. Any sort of differentiating factor. Does that change your answer? Now again, logically, the answer would be no. But emotionally, it's something very different. Because, especially in times of... oh, right. I have to go back up. Especially in times of trauma and sharp amounts of emotionality, people act on their instincts, and they act on snap reactions of the first thing that comes to mind. There is no ethical quandary of whether or not you want to... like, oh, what if I sacrifice the wrong person? What will people think of me? In the heat of the moment, that doesn't matter. People will do what their mind is screaming at them to do, even if it's ethically wrong. What else we got? Vase World. God, right, this place. I'm kind of tempted to jump ship. And then we just end with Vase World. I think I'm gonna do that. Nothing against Cosmic World, but like, I don't want to deal with it right now. Like I said, Vase World is Rock World, right? No, that's Entomophobia. Broken Faces. Broken Faces World? But I mean, the reason why I did all of this, or the reason why I care so much about all of this, is that back in... oh, when was it? A few summers ago. I was studying abroad in Ireland. And it was all about the ethics of machinery. Things like the trolley problem and stuff like that. So I now know more than I ever cared to know about the ethics of trolley problems and autonomous vehicles and stuff like that. I now know more about that than I will ever need or want to know. But I think I stop here. I guess Rainbow finishes the sequence. Thanks so much for watching.